from Nasik, India, and the College of Arts and Sciences. The presentation, Sex Influences Wiring. Please welcome Aditi, Chaubey. Ready, set, pitch.
A question that has puzzled scientists, doctors, psychologists, and even Hollywood is what makes men and women different. We know that beyond the physical features and the inner anatomy, there are differences even in the brain and the millions of neurons that make up these brains. Unfortunately, women's brains have been completely neglected from studies on neurological disorders, something that has only been revised in the past 40 years. Research has shown that men and women are different when it comes to the different aspects of a neurological disorder stages: onset, progress, and even response to drugs. Studies have also shown that men and women are different when it comes to pain perception, with women being more susceptible to pain than men. But we don't know why and how this is, and studies in human brains are very difficult, as you can imagine. Enter C. elegans. These tiny 1 millimeter long worms have really tiny brains made up of only 302 neurons. But fundamentally, they are functionally similar to how complicated human brains work. So studies in brains of worms can give us an insight into how human brains work. There are two sexes when it comes to C. elegans: hermaphrodite, or females shown here in red, and males shown here in blue. The question I asked was simple: are there differences in the pain perception between these sexes? And there indeed were. Hermaphrodites were more responsive to painful stimuli and responded highly, or even more than males. Males tended to ignore the harmful stimuli and kept moving on. The next question I wanted to ask was it the sex of the brain that was responsible for this behavior? And to answer that, I used genetic and molecular biology tools to design worms that had the sex of their brain completely divorced. Yes, we could do that. Now we had hermaphrodites with male brains and males with hermaphrodite brains. And to our surprise, their behavior completely switched. So hermaphrodites were now behaving like males, and males were now responding like hermaphrodites. So it was indeed the sex of the brains that was responsible for the differences in pain perception that we saw. Imagine doing this in humans, changing the sex of the brains. Makes for a good script for a romantic comedy, but in reality, it is impossible to do so. My research will help understand pain perception better and maybe come up with drugs that will be designed only for a specific sex. On this International Women's Day, I can confidently say that there would be a day when women won't have to suffer in pain and will go out and seize the day. Because why should men have all the fun? Thank you.